Welcome back to another edition of Get Well Acadiana. I'm Dr. Kevin, Senior Vice President of the Bryant Wellness Institutes, and I'm here with my co-host, Brandon Como. Brandon, how are you today?
Doing well. Just glad to be putting all this rain behind us.
Yes, definitely, and loving the colder weather. Too bad deer seasons are already over,
That was quick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's still going on for some people, but for me, it's pretty much over where I'm at. But I appreciate all of you tuning in this morning on Get Well Acadiana. Usually the beginning and the ending of every week, I say that the Bryant Wellness Institute is Louisiana's most advanced functional medicine institute. And when I say that, I mean that we use some of the most amazing new technology. In fact, it's some of the most advanced technology available anywhere to treat some of today's most difficult, complicated health problems. And we do it without drugs or surgery whatsoever. And our program is called Beyond Functional Medicine because there's really nothing else out there like it in the South. We use technology based a lot on German biological medicine. Those guys are light years ahead of us when it comes to drug-free solutions for some of today's worst health problems. And the thing about functional medicine, I feel it's really the future of healthcare. And so we're very proud to be involved in the things that we are. And today I wanted to talk about one of the number one reasons people visit the doctor's office. And Brandon, when you hear that, most people think like heart trouble or maybe not sleeping well, but it's actually digestive disturbances. If you think about it, there are 21 million hospitalizations every year for digestive reasons, and there's 60 to 70 million people affected by some sort of a digestive problem. And people don't even, when you think about digestive problem, they don't really know what all goes into that. But when you add up Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, IBS, peptic ulcers, constipation, diverticulitis, gastric infections, gallstones, hiatal hernias. I mean, all of these things fall into the classification of digestive disturbances. When we say digestive disturbances, people think, well, I mean, that means acid reflux. But it's so much more than that. I mean, there's literally 20 or 30 diseases that's real common that people have that are digestive disturbances. I mean, my goodness, our digestive systems are a complete disaster, and the rates are increasing every year. And one of the worst of those is leaky gut syndrome. That's something that we'll get to in a little bit. But that we stopped checking it. So many people have leaky gut syndrome. We just assume that 100% of the people that come in have it. So our digestive health is rapidly worsening. People are getting sicker, and the digestive health of people in America is getting worse and worse. And so on today's show, I wanted to go through some natural solutions for all these disorders. Brandon, if I ask someone on the street, do you know anybody that has really good digestion? Most people would say, well, no, I don't really know anybody that does. And so we've got to do something. And our digestive solutions program is second to none. We've figured out some of the 3 or 4 most commonly underlying reasons that almost all of these digestive issues develop in the first place. And the way that we've been looking at some of this stuff over the last 3 or 4 decades is completely wrong. We've really got it 180 degrees backwards for the last 40 years. Our digestive systems do a lot more than just break down our food. People think digestive system, all that does is break my food down so that it can be absorbed. It does so much more than that. Your digestive system is intricately involved in so many different other body systems. 80% of your immunity takes place in your gut. Hormones to control depression and anxiety like serotonin are made in the gut. Thyroid hormone is activated in the gut. So when we think of our digestive systems as simply breaking down food, it's so much more involved in that. There's so much more going on than just breaking down your food. Here's the truth. You cannot, it is a physiological impossibility to have an unhealthy digestive tract and a healthy person at the same time. You just can't have it. if your gut is unhealthy, if the microbiome that we call your digestive system is unhealthy, you will not have a healthy person. It's just not there. So our digestive restoration program has to be part of any comprehensive wellness strategy because the gut is so intricately involved in every other aspect of our health. So what today's show is going to be all about is digestive health. How do we rebuild the digestive system? And you'll see today that the way that we're treating most digestive disorders makes no sense whatsoever. So out of all of these digestive conditions that I listed earlier, I listed, 10 or 15 of them. Almost all digestive symptoms and diseases have two underlying problems. So if you take all of those things that I talked about, all that list of diseases, and you boil it down, there's really 2 or 3, maybe 4 underlying causes that have caused our digestive systems to be in such bad shape. I don't care what the diagnosis is. I don't care if it's Crohn's, IBS, hiatal hernia, acid reflux disease. Almost all of these different diseases that you think of with digestive boil down to really 2 things. And most of those patients we find have both of these things going on. And number 1 is low stomach acid, and number 2 is leaky gut syndrome. So we're going to dive into both of those 2 things today on the show. We'll talk about what that means and what you can do in order to solve these 2 things. But just know that if your digestive system is unhealthy, you will not be healthy. So when we get back from break, I'm going to explain why low stomach acid is actually the main problem. Now think about this. Acid pump inhibitors like Nexium and Prilosec are the top-selling medications on the planet, second only to cholesterol medicine as the top-selling drugs in America. So why is that? How do these 2 things jive? Most Americans have low stomach acid, yet we're taking these pump inhibitors by the handsfuls. So that makes no sense. And after break, I'm going to explain why this is happening, and the way that we're looking at digestive issues really needs to be reevaluated. And although we're patching up symptoms, we're actually not getting to the underlying issues in the long run. You're listening to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Bryant Wellness Institutes. If somebody you know suffers with these digestive issues, call or text them right now and tell them to tune into the show. You might just save their life. We're going to go through the underlying reasons why they probably have bad digestion. So text them right now and tell them to tune into the show. And right after the break, we may just be able to give them some answers that they've never heard before. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Bryant Wellness Institutes. And we're Louisiana's most advanced Functional Medicine Institute, and that means that we use the latest technologies and techniques available to treat today's worst health problems using non-drug solutions. And whatever health problem you're suffering with, just know that natural solutions may exist to make you, at the very least, feel better and enjoy your life again. And even if you've tried everything and you feel that there's just no hope, advancements have been made over the last 5 or 10 years, so don't give up. There's a really good chance that somebody has something out there that can help you. But I see this so many times, Brandon. People will go to a couple of places or they'll try a few things and it'll not help them. And so they just give up and say, well, I'm just doomed to suffer with this. It's not true. Keep looking for solutions because there's very likely one out there. Now, the next topic that I wanted to get into is what we talked about with why our stomachs are not functioning the way that they should. And before the break, we were talking that low stomach acid is something that we actually see all the time.
So how much does the type of foods we eat play into us getting low stomach acid?
Well, it plays a significant role in it because our food doesn't have any enzymes in it anymore. You know, if you look at the average diet it's pretty much dead of the vital enzymes, the nutritional enzymes and digestive enzymes that your body needs in order to break your food down.
Okay, so how then and I'm assuming you're talking about more modern food that comes out the way that it's processed.
Yeah.
Are you saying basically the process, if you will, is kind of stripping out the enzymes from our food? Is that how it's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then the problem is once you get this, like say you had a really bad diet as a teenager or whatever, it's really hard to overcome this if you don't do something about it. So once you get low stomach acid, it's really hard to, just by deciding you're going to change things a little bit, like eat a little bit better, that it's ever going to, really be able to fix itself without a little more help than that. But this is something that we see so many times. And think about this. Almost everybody you talk to these days takes Nexium or Prilosec or carries Tums in their pocket. That's because we have too much stomach acid, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what everybody thinks. And the thing about this is if you have acid reflux, ulcers, or any stomach problem, the idea is, well, that's my own stomach acid doing that, and I need to take these pump inhibitors. Well, hold on. Let's think this through. So I know you guys have heard people say that their stress gives them acid reflux, right? So like people say, well, when I get really stressed or when I eat something I shouldn't and my body gets stressed, I get reflux. Mm-hmm. Now, that's been the theory for 30 years. That's actually not possible. Stress causes our bodies to go into this fight or flight response. And when the body goes into fight or flight response, it shuts down the acid pumps in the body, in the stomach, not increasing them. The stress response is to shut off acid. And what do we find that 87% of our people are stuck in? Adrenal fatigue and overstress response in their body. So people aren't producing enough stomach acid. Almost all Americans are stuck in what we call sympathetic dominance, which means basically that Americans are stuck in this fight or flight, go stress response. And when you're stuck in fight or flight, and I think it's pretty common knowledge in healthcare throughout all professions that Americans are pretty much stuck in this sort of fight or flight response. And I think everybody agrees with that. So if everybody agrees with that, and then everybody has too much stress, and then to say, well, everybody has too much stomach acid, those bodily responses do not go together. That can't be the case. So sympathetic dominance is an emergency mode, a crisis mode, this sort of fight or flight where your body goes into this like you're being chased by something.
So to be clear, high stress is a major cause of low stomach acid.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Because when you get into a fight, your body's going to go through several mechanisms. It's going to raise your blood pressure because you need a lot of blood pressure to fight. Okay. It's going to take the blood from your stomach and divert it into your arms and legs so you can move your arms and legs. Okay. Like, are you going to fight or run?
Right.
And then the third thing is our sleep hormones aren't produced very well.
Yeah.
You're not going to be running from a predator and get sleepy.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing that happens is our body produces cortisol, which is an anti-inflammatory hormone, but that's good if you're in a fight. But the bad thing is it becomes a fat-storing hormone.
Gotcha.
So people that are in this stress response have high blood pressure, low stomach acid. They wake up in the middle of the night because they don't sleep well, and they have weight problems. So that describes a significant chunk of our population.
Yeah.
And here's what happens when you have low stomach acid. When you eat food, let's say you eat that food while you're stuck in traffic, like I did this morning, that's the truth. And then talking to your boss on a speakerphone, and then worried about your kids doing poorly in school and stressing about your bills, and you're doing all this at the same time. When you swallow that food, your stomach acid has shut down, so that food just sits there. And you get what we call food rot. And that means that your food does not get digested and broken down, and it sits there and ferments very quickly. And as that food ferments, it produces its own off-gassing from its organic acids that the food makes from the fermentation process. So the gas, the burning that you feel is actually in some cases the food itself that has produced its own acid. Like, have you ever left the food on the counter and you forgot about it? Or let's say you throw it in the garbage can and you come back the next day and it's it's kind of liquidy. That is the organic acid that food makes whenever it just sits there. And this is the acid that most people will feel whenever they have stomach problems. And it's very likely the organic acid from this undigested food because of the lack of stomach acid. So then what happens whenever you take something for the stomach acid? All that does is just neutralize the acid that was there and then move that food on down the digestive tract so that you have undigested food going on into the colon and into the small intestine. And that leads to my second topic of today, which is the leaky gut syndrome, which we'll get to in just a little bit. So yes, I'm telling you that you may not have enough stomach acid causing your digestive disturbances. Not too much. You may have the off-gassing of the organic acids from your undigested food bubbling up into your esophagus, and that could be what's causing your acid reflux. And it's just a scientific fact that stress response shuts down acid pumps, and it's also a scientific fact that 87% of the people that we check are stuck in this stress response. So to me, it would make way more sense that people have too little acid than actually have too much. And so here's the really cool part of this. There's a really simple little home test that you can do to see if you have low stomach acid. And it's real simple. All you do is take a little solution of baking soda and water in a certain ratio, and you drink it first thing in the morning when your acid should be the highest. Now, if you don't, so when you mix an alkaline, which is baking soda, with an acid, it's going to bubble, right? It's going to make a gas. Now, so what you do is you drink this solution and time how long it takes you to either burp or have some kind of a bubble produced. And if it takes 3 to 5 minutes, you have low stomach acid. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, you have almost no acid whatsoever. So we always have our patients do this little home test to see, we give them the instructions, and you have to kind of follow the instructions to make this work. But we always test all of our patients for this low stomach acid, and we find it in so many people. And it's really an easy fix. All you have to do is just take a little bit of HCl halfway through your meal, and we can fix this, fairly easily. Thank you for listening to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. We're going to be right back after this break. But if you're interested in talking to me to see if my methods might help you, all you have to do is call my office at 837-7174. That's 837-7174, and leave your name and number on my voicemail. And when I get back to work Monday, I know it's Saturday today, I'm not at the office, but when I get back Monday, I will sit down and call you, and I'll talk to you about your individual health problems and see if I think I can help you. And if I don't feel like I can help you, I won't waste your time. The number's 837-7174. If you're closer to New Iberia, Dr. Fontenot's number at our other location is 367-2567, or you can join us on Facebook at the Bryant Wellness Institutes. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. We're discussing digestive problems, and so far we've proven to you that most Americans have low stomach acid, not high stomach acid, and that all of this digestive issues and reflux and all of this could be from the off-gassing of their undigested food, not from overactive acid pumps in their stomach. And I feel that we may have this exactly backwards. Next, we're going to discuss leaky gut syndrome, which is the second biggest issue that we see, and actually the low acid contributes to this as well. But the standard American diet is the perfect prescription to give someone leaky gut syndrome. So what does that mean? Basically, the food that we eat is supposed to stay in our digestive tract until it's fully broken down to its smallest component. Meaning, if I swallow a bite of chicken, that chicken is broken down into its little smallest components, little proteins and amino acids, and that those proteins and amino acids pass through the digestive tract into the blood to be used for fuel. If I swallow a piece of broccoli or a potato, that should be broken down to its smallest carbohydrates and sugars and passed into the bloodstream to be used. So our digestive tract lining is supposed to be the barrier between our undigested food and our bloodstream, like a coffee filter. So your coffee filter lets through the coffee and keeps out the grounds. Leaky gut means that the lining of your digestive tract has been damaged, and that has created holes right through that lining, that barrier. So these holes in our gut cause our food to get through early. So instead of our food being broken down completely into its components that are supposed to be filtered through into the blood, those food particles get through early. So instead of having chicken broken all the way down to amino acids and proteins, you get a piece of chicken floating around in your bloodstream. Or instead of broccoli broken down to its simplest carbohydrates and sugars, you get a chunk of broccoli in our bloodstream. Our body cannot recognize this, and you're going to get this immune system reaction. Our body's immune system will kick into overdrive and send immune system killer cells and inflammatory response to go destroy that piece of food. That food is never used for energy. It gets broken down by our system. It never gets used and digested for nutrients. The body will go and destroy it and carry it away. This is a major energy drainer. Imagine every time you eat, it's like poking the bear of your immune response. This is a very draining, energetic thing for your body to have. It creates immune system problems. It's the cause of all kinds of digestive trouble and immune system problems. So basically, it would be like you get food directly into your blood, past your digestive tract. And it's not good for you. Every time you eat, you're creating a huge inflammatory response. This can make our immune system get madder and madder and madder at you and at your body and just start to attack its own cells and create like an autoimmune type reaction. Autoimmune diseases are rising at an unprecedented rate. Hashimoto's, rheumatoid, Crohn's, MS. And so anything that makes your immune system mad is not something that you want to have going on. And if you have food particles going into your bloodstream before they're ready, this can be a major source of inflammation. Now, one major cause of leaky gut is the herbicide Roundup. Now Roundup is in absolutely everything. It's in our water. They find it in everything they test because it's so widely used now. And in South Louisiana, it's one of the highest concentrations in the world. So every time we eat, we're getting this, the chemical name for Roundup is glyphosate, and it's getting into our system, and it's destroying our gut lining. Now, when you consider that 80% of immune regulation occurs in the gut, according to several scientists, the gut is a huge battlefront where the fight for either you getting healthy or you not getting healthy begins. That fight begins in the digestive system. So this is a major energy drainer, and until it's fixed, you will probably not heal and ever be 100% healthy. So we do a lot with gut health here. A lot. Now, here's another tip. If you're taking probiotics and your gut is leaking, that's bacteria. It's good bacteria, but it's meant to stay in your digestive tract, not get in your bloodstream. That's bacteria spilling over into your blood. Even though they're good bacteria, you want to keep them in your digestive tract. So this constant use of probiotics may not be the best thing in the beginning. Now listen, I love probiotics. We use them all the time in our office. But the constant use of them, if the patient has leaky gut, might not be a good idea because your body is going to have to go kill those bacteria as well. So we absolutely use them in the office, but a constant use of them when someone has leaky gut is not the best idea. So there again, you can cause more harm than good if you don't know how to do this. If you have disease, this is one of the places where the devil lies in the details. You have to know what order of things to fix in the body. And that's why having someone that's an expert in this to help you through this is a good idea. So many people try to do this on their own, and it fails so often. Now, if someone that you know has these digestive issues, this could really be what's going on with them as well. We have the only natural product that has ever been figured out to get the gut lining to repair itself. So we have a solution for leaky gut syndrome that you can drink 30 minutes before you eat every day, and it will help rebuild the lining of the digestive system. But we have so destroyed our digestive systems from all of the different things that we've done. You have to have a comprehensive strategy whenever it comes to rebuilding and restoring someone's digestive system. So don't just try a few of these things on your own, because you really have to do these things in the right order. Our program uses a multifaceted approach, and that's why we've been so successful at solving these complex digestive issues, because you can't just do one thing and expect to fix it. The body's too complicated for that. But remember, 80% of immunity occurs in the gut. Thyroid hormone is built in the gut. Serotonin, a neurotransmitter looked at in depression and anxiety, is built in the gut. So the gut takes such importance whenever it comes to you being healthy. If you have an unhealthy gut, you probably will have a really difficult time being healthy. And all of these digestive issues like low stomach acid and leaky gut, the problem is they rob our body's energy reserve. And the truth is we must be able to make more energy in our body than what we burn every day. And when I say energy, guys, I don't mean in this sort of metaphysical, hippie-like sense like energy. No, I mean your body makes a molecule called ATP. ATP is the packet of energy that your body uses to do its processes. Sort of like your car uses a gallon of gas. A gallon of energy, a piece of energy for our systems is a molecule called ATP. The body must have ATP molecules to make energy. So the problem is exactly the opposite is happening. You should be making more ATP than your body is burning. But what's happened is because our body is dealing with more than ever before, our body is literally burning these ATPs up faster than they can make them. And so we have this constant energy deficit, or energy reserve is gone. So we have a lack of energy reserve, and our energetic deficit is really high, meaning your body is burning more ATP than it's making. Now, this is something that in order to get your body to heal, we have to do two things. We have to increase the body's ability to make ATP and stop the places your body is having to spend them, like fixing some of these things like leaky gut syndrome and low stomach acid. Now, in order for you to find out if you have any of these underlying causes of these digestive disturbances, you're more than welcome to call my office, and we can have a phone conversation about your particular set of health problems, and we can talk about if I think my methods might be able to help you solve this problem. And if I don't think I can help you, I won't waste your time. All you have to do if you want to have a conversation with me is call my office at 837-7174, and we can figure out what the roadblocks are to you achieving a higher level of health. And the truth is, it's usually several things. Most people have lost their health from a series of co-causes. And if we can discover each one of these co-causes and begin to eliminate them one by one, Now we're in the ball game of getting a patient better from these complicated health problems. And the truth is, your body wants to heal, but there's something in the way. Usually several things in the way of your body being able to fully heal like it wants to. Your body wants to be healthy, but we just have to find out what the underlying things are that's preventing it from doing so. So call my office right now at 837-7174 and leave your name and number, and I will personally call you back Monday to discuss your health issues with you. The number is 837-7174, and in New Iberia, it's 367-2567. You're listening to Get Well Acadiana. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. I appreciate you all joining us on the show today. I hope that I have dispelled some myths about common digestive issues and that we're looking at this wrong in so many cases. People have low stomach acid, not high stomach acid. Almost every American has leaky gut syndrome. And the last unrecognized thing are food sensitivities. Now, what does that mean? Unrecognized food sensitivities means that you may have a food that your body does not agree with or it does not like, meaning that if you eat this food, your body will create an immune reaction to go try to attack and kill that food as if it were a virus or a bacteria. So my personal one was almonds, and I didn't realize it, but almond butter was one of my snacks. It was when I was competing, and almond butter was one of my favorite snacks. And I was struggling with digestive things. I couldn't figure out why. So it turned out I tested myself, and I was intolerant to almonds. And my body was staying in a constant state of inflammation and immune reaction, and because that was one of the staples. That was one of the things. Almond butter was one of the things I ate almost every day. And so we see many of these unrecognized food intolerances, and now more than ever before, as we're seeing foods irritating and bothering people's bodies and digestive tracts. Now, why would this be? Why do so many people have food sensitivities now, and people had never heard of that 20 or 30 years ago? Well, simply the food isn't what it used to be. You have all these genetically modified, Roundup-ready frankenfoods, I call them. And, for example, let's take soybeans. So what Monsanto Seed did, who I refer to as the evil empire of the food industry, but what Monsanto Seed did is that they took a perfectly healthy soybean plant, a soybean DNA, and so to genetically modify it, they spliced on a portion of, we think, virus DNA on one end of it. So you have part soybean and part virus. And then on the other end of it, they spliced on, we think, the genetic structure of a bacteria on it. So what you end up with is part soybean, part virus, part bacteria, and we're not actually eating soybean anymore. The soybean is no longer what it was 30 or 40 or 50 years ago. Now, our bodies cannot recognize our food today as the same as it once was. And the reason they do that to the plants is so that you can spray more Roundup on them and it won't kill it. And that's what we're eating. So our food allergies and sensitivities are through the roof. Roundup has now been proven to even cause things like cancer, and it's been proven, like I said earlier, to create leaky gut syndrome, and it's sprayed by the thousands and thousands of tons here. Now, listen, guys, I want y'all to know I love our farmers. I'm not saying that. I want our farmers to do well. And I know they're just trying to do what they have to do to compete. It's not their fault at all. They have to do that, or they couldn't compete with the farmer next to them. And I want our farmers to be hugely successful and be able to compete. But when we were first deciding to do this, I don't know if it was the best idea. I have a drawer full of research that proves that there was a lot of negative studies that were kind of swept under the rug and faked to make some of this stuff look like it was way better than it was. And so these unrecognized food sensitivities are a real problem. We see this in children with behavioral problems and difficulty concentrating. And when you eliminate these things, it can make a huge difference. Now, we can test you for these food sensitivities, and we can now test your children or your grandchildren for these food sensitivities. It's very simple. the lab sends us a record of 96 different foods that they tested for to see if you have unrecognized food sensitivities. And they send us back a 1, 2, or a 0, 1, 2, or a 3. The 3s you're highly sensitive to, and the 0s you're not. And we can tell which food your body is becoming intolerant to. And this is a huge problem that no one else is talking about. And the neat thing is, we can now test you to see exactly what your food sensitivities are. We used to have to guess, like, well, maybe it's this, eliminate that for a while and see how you do. Now we can test exactly and even get a severe to a mild insensitive to the foods, to 96 different foods. And this can solve many of these complex disorders. So again, this needs to be part of a comprehensive strategy to solve these complex digestive issues. You can't just throw one of these things at it and expect it to work. What I always say about our functional medicine program is if we do 5 things and each one of them helps you just 20%, we're all the way there. So today we talked about leaky gut, low stomach acid, and food sensitivities. If I do those 3 things and each one of them helps you 25%, we are 75% of the way there to solving your digestive issues. So if you like what you heard today and you want to talk to me about your particular health problems, I would be happy to call you when I get back to the office Monday and have a phone conversation with you to see if I think my methods might be able to help you. And if I ever feel like that I can't help you, I won't waste your time. My purpose is not to come entertain you. My purpose is to spend some time doing this show to try to help you achieve the highest level of health possible that no one has been able to solve for you up until now. So ask yourself, am I healthier than I was 2 years ago? Is my health headed in the right direction? If not, we need to talk because health can be lost. So even if you don't address your problems, you could end up getting worse over time. So you want to make sure that you address this stuff now, not later on. And this is what I do every day. You know, I love this stuff. I read research for fun. So we're on the cutting edge of these natural solutions. You know, Dr. Fontenot he spearheads a lot of these new technologies and a lot of these new ideas, and he's also on the very cutting edge of all of these amazing solutions out there for your worst health problems. And if you want to give him a call in New Iberia, it's 367-2567. And if you want to call me in Lafayette, Broussard, it's 837-7174. Just leave your name on the machine. And when I get to work Monday, I'll give you a call back and see if we think we can help you. So the office number was 837-7174, or you can join us on our Facebook and get all of our numbers there at Bryant Wellness Institutes. I do a live Facebook show every Thursday called Dr. Kevin Live and Online. So you can ask me questions and join into the conversation, and I invite you to join in that every Thursday at noon. You've been listening to Get Well Acadiana with Dr. Kevin. I'm the Senior Vice President of the Bryant Wellness Institutes. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.